Hey everybody, this week on Up Your Alley, we've got two great recommendations. First, Jake told me to check out Simone Giertz and her YouTube channel and all of her crazy inventions, and I had Jake watch the documentary Love Charlie, The Rise and Fall of Chef Charlie Trotter. Jake's got some video game recaps, and I went on a little trip. Jake, got anything to add?
Yeah, I went on a little trip, and I got video game recaps.
So literally nothing to add, just things to repeat.
No, I got something to add.
No. Is the candle going to be an issue?
So you could fix that.
Fix what?
The wax buildup around the side.
The outside of the candle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bobby from Queer Eye taught me how.
Really?
Yes.
How's he doing?
You put aluminum foil around the whole thing. You light the candles so that it stays the heat in, and then it melts it all the way down so that it burns like a regular candle.
This is great for an audio medium. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Up Your Alley, the show with two best friends. My name's Taylor Egger, and with me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggis. Say hi, Jake.
You don't take care of your candles.
Okay. In a minute.
Hi, buddy.
We got two great recommendations. We recommend something to each other each week. Then we come back and grade them on a scale of 1 to 3 based on how much it is up our individual alleys. This week, like I said, we're watching the documentary Love Charlie, The Rise and Fall of Chef Charlie Trotter, available on Netflix. And also, Jake had me check out Simone Giertz, which we learned how to say her name. Mispronounced it last time because
Giertz.
It is... Yeah, it's Giertz, but it's Giertz. Because Sweden.
Yep.
I guess. And we're going to check out her YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. So the candle's not an issue. It's just kind of...
No.
So where am I supposed to put... I have a big candle. It's probably what, like 4 inches across?
Yeah.
Yeah, about that round candle. Down here in the studio.
Yeah.
It's nice, but apparently it's burning incorrectly.
Yeah, apparently when you burn a candle, it's supposed to let it burn for a couple hours.
Yeah.
First. So that way it starts to melt evenly across the plane. But if you put it out too fast, if you put it out too fast, you get this little ring of wax. Yeah, but
so how do I fix it?
Bobby puts aluminum foil around it. You
Over
light
the
the
whole
candle,
thing?
and then you put aluminum foil around the top, leaving a little hole in the top for ventilation's sake. And then it'll melt the whole thing. And then you'll have a nice, pretty candle again.
Well, I know what I'm doing this afternoon.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's a weird time to be recording. It's a noon podcast recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Changes are happening.
We'll see. I think this
us.
is the only afternoon podcast we've recorded. We've done late nights, and we've done a couple random early morning ones, too.
We've done morning, yeah.
Yeah.
We've done at a golf course. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, this is the first time that we did a luncheon.
Luncheon, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had luncheon. I tried, actually, I was trying to film this video for this new idea I had. It was like a cooking thing. And I filmed it all, made everything. Food tasted great. And I just got the footage down. It was just one of those things where immediately I was just like, this is not what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And it was just a bummer because I thought it was like the first time that I had an idea for a project, like filming something, and it was just like, oh no, we got to scrap this entirely. There's nothing salvageable here.
I think other than like Babish and when he was cool.
He's still pretty cool.
Oh, he tried to like monetize his shit. He tried to take
God
everything
forbid
down.
people try to make money, Jacob.
Yeah, quit doing that.
Yeah.
And then Bon Appetit, when they were cool, I watched that. But I just remember this one.
That was
cooking
corporate
video.
greed that ruined Bon Appetit. And some of those,
what? Something about money ruined it?
No, if you're one person monetizing yourself, that's different than a big company coming over and knocking out all the creatives. Because he was a creative.
No,
making
they had
his
like a
money doing
racism
something.
problem.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
They weren't paying everybody equally.
Exactly. They were having a problem. That was a management of multiple creatives. It wasn't one creative doing his own thing. But a lot of the Bon Appetit people, like Claire Saffitz and Molly Baz, and obviously Brad Leone, and Sula is great as well. She actually worked for...
Me?
No, Sula did some stuff with Babish, I believe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Regardless, I couldn't get the
only
angles looking right. It didn't look good.
The only cooking video that I liked was this lady who was making fried cinnamon roll dough for her kids. Mm-hmm. The reason it's so good is because she's like, film the fucking pan. You're not looking at the pan when I'm doing something. And she's like, you just do this. And when I'm talking, bring it up to me. You have to look at me. I was like, this is a really good video.
There's a guy on YouTube. The handle is just "You Suck at Cooking."
Yeah, I love him.
That's just great the way he films his, because he'll do things where he like just takes an onion and then it's a seamless cut of him smashing an onion into the cutting board, and then it's just diced perfectly.
I like how long he could keep a bit going, which is he had salt in a like a weird paper bag. Yeah. So he just kept his salt in a weird paper bag for like the rest of his videos.
Regardless, I don't know what it was. Like I'll let you look at the footage a little bit, but it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know what I was hoping it would be, but it just wasn't.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Are you interested in Alien Romulus? And have you seen Alien Covenant? And have you seen Prometheus?
I think I mentioned this before. I've seen some of the Alien movies.
Yes.
I've seen most of Alien.
Yeah.
I've seen Aliens. I don't think I've seen 3 and 4. Yeah. Actually, I can tell you for a fact I haven't seen 3 and 4. Out of the newer, I've seen Alien vs. Predator. They're in Antarctica. I don't know which Alien vs. Predator that is.
Yeah, that's the first one.
The pyramid one with Tandy Newton, I think, is in that.
Yeah. That sounds like something from the 1920s. I don't know.
And
Tandy Newton.
Yeah, she's great. She's in a bunch of things.
Starring alongside Sandy Duncan. That's 1970.
I think it's her. Hold on. Yeah. Alien vs. Predator. Yeah.
Good.
And I've seen the Danny McBride one, I think.
That one is Covenant.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of interest in Alien Rom.
Okay.
And
that's just the big talk with my group chat.
That comes out
film chat
tomorrow.
Yeah,
the day this comes out.
They're all excited for it, and I'm not, and they're upset.
Really? Why are you not excited? Do you not like the Alien movies?
This is the whole thing, man.
Because the whole thing.
Because everybody's excited, and I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, why aren't you excited? This is going to be a great movie. I was like, I didn't think Alien Covenant was a good movie. They're like, why did you think Alien Covenant movie was a good movie? It's like, I thought Prometheus was a good movie. I wanted to see where that would go. He's like, how did you think Prometheus was a good movie? I was like, this isn't for me, guys.
So I think Aliens, I saw those too late. I think they kind of fall into like the Terminator thing with me.
Yeah.
Where I never really saw them. Like, obviously, I wasn't born when the first ones came out.
But you weren't a kid when you watched
them. And
them.
I didn't see them as a kid, so I don't have, like, you kind of have that with, like, the Nightmare on Elm Street and the Jason movies where you saw them maybe a little bit too young, but it still has that kind of weird thing in your brain where you're like, you're wearing your Friday the 13th shirt.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the Alien and Terminator movies then either.
Yeah.
I was fully a Star Wars guy. So I don't have that nostalgia for them. I think they're good movies, but they don't hold the... It's not a franchise that holds the weight for me that I'm going to... Like, granted, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power comes out on the 29th. I'm super stoked about that. I don't know many other people that are.
Is that a sequel to the... Wait.
Yeah. It's a second season? Second season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sauron's there. He's got a little crown.
Christopher Lee?
No. That's Saruman.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he's dead.
How dare I? I've seen that movie.
But, yeah, the Alien franchise, I don't have much nostalgia for. I think I like Predator more.
Yeah.
Just because I was more
I love the first Predator.
I like
the
Arnold Schwarzenegger, that genre of film.
Yeah.
Like where like Predator, Commando, going up to Last Action Hero. As a kid, for me, Jingle All the Way, I would throw into that same group of Arnold Schwarzenegger doing a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those movies, but not so much the franchise itself. Okay. I liked Prey. Prey was great.
I haven't seen Prey.
Yeah, Prey was fantastic.
I hear it's fantastic, yes. Yeah. I'm going to watch it. It's a movie.
Yeah.
But it brought back old wounds.
It's not a franchise I give a shit about.
Yeah. Because the same day that I went to the theater to watch Covenant, I went to my friend's house afterward, and he just watched it too, like at a different theater, but we all met up at the same time. And he was like, "Didn't you love it?" And I was like, "I actually have a lot of gripes about it." And he was like, "Oh no, we can't talk to each other today."
Oh man!
And I was like, "This isn't good."
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
that's why we should only go see good movies. Speaking of good movies that are coming out, we both watched the Craven trailer.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, it's just nothing.
It looks great.
I don't see anything.
I'm on board. I'm 100% on board.
You could have showed me a montage of people on the streets of New York City and then cut to Craven. And I would have been like, oh, he's in a city.
Yeah.
There's nothing established.
I think it looks better. Like, first of all, we both liked Madam Web.
Yes.
We can agree on that.
I would say it was an enjoyable viewing.
Yes.
Yes.
I think Craven's going to be a better movie than Madam Web.
I think it's going to not have the things that make me fascinated with Madam Web.
Spider-Man. It's not going to have.
It's not going to have a single spider in it. It's not going to have Ben Parker. It's not going to have Adam Scott being adorable.
Yes.
It's not going to have what's her name? Dakota Johnson.
People blowing up in ambulances.
Actually being pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But it's not going to have an entire studio scrambling to try and find a way to get people to say things that they're not doing.
This movie was supposed to be released last August. And then they pushed it back to Labor Day, which is coming up. And then they pushed it back again until... No, apparently when Madam Web came out, they reshot this movie. And I forget, someone on Twitter or X said this, and it was that the studio said that they're reshooting it, putting it out for Christmas release because they wanted to focus more on plot and characters. I'm like, oh, didn't focus on plot and characters when you were first making the movie?
Just setting.
Yeah. And they're doing a whole bunch of reshoots. And speaking of reshoots, James Gunn posted on Threads that he finished shooting Superman. And he says, I don't think we're going to need any reshoots, maybe a day.
Cool.
And then he also said that he's done less than 5 days of reshoots his entire career.
Hell yeah.
Which I'm like, oh, look what happens when there's actually an artist and a director that knows what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And he plans everything out ahead of time and doesn't have to scramble.
I would be so mad if Superman takes out a cassette tape and puts it in something. It says like Fabulous Mix.
No, it'd be kind of funny if he did that. But yeah. So what's this game you've been playing?
I've been playing Returnal.
So this came out
a while ago.
2021.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a roguelite game.
Okay.
So you like go from room to room trying to clear it out of all the monsters, but it's just very hard and very beautiful, but very hard. And it's a game that I picked up months ago, and I played it for about 5 hours, and I was like, I'm having a great time until you get about an hour into a good run, and you're like, I'm feeling very strong, and everything's going my way, and then a boss kills you, and you throw your controller down, and you're like, I can't do this video game anymore. I thought it was a 5. Turns out it's a 0. This is the worst game I've ever played.
Really?
And then I picked it up again a couple months later, and I'm like, this is a great game. I'm having so much fun. So I haven't gotten to the point yet where I'm like, fuck this. I can't stand it anymore.
I've been jumping back and forth between games. I into the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and I keep dying pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Even though my character is level 147, I want to say I'm up to.
You got to find the special tree things.
The Shroud Tree.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a whole new mechanic to learn,
Yes.
and I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I end up keep going to the overworld and just finishing stuff up there. And then I started playing a game called Remnant 2.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Kind of fun.
I played the first Remnant. I loved it.
That was a recommendation from a friend of mine. And yeah, it's kind of fun. Jumped off. And then I downloaded, because it was $4 on PlayStation Network, I downloaded Borderlands 3. I had never played any of the Borderlands games.
It was free. I got it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
They charged me $4.99 for
That's funny, because you have super special PlayStation Plus.
it's $4. So
that's another game where I have the dissenting opinion on.
Well, I don't really like it. I've only played probably about an hour and a half of it, but I downloaded it because I had never played these games, and apparently the Borderlands movie is garbage. And everyone says it's garbage, and it made like $12 million its opening weekend on a budget of like $150 million.
Yeah.
And I was just like, huh.
It doesn't look really good at all.
Well, from the reviews I was saying is, did you ever see the Warcraft movie?
No.
So the Warcraft movie isn't a bad movie. It's not a great movie, but it's not a bad movie.
Is it made for specifically Warcraft fans?
No, that's the problem. Is that it wasn't Warcraft heavy enough to be good for Warcraft fans.
Yeah.
And it was too much Warcraft to be a broad movie. So it was really for nobody. And that's what Borderlands got compared to a lot too.
Okay.
Said it's kind of for Borderlands fans, and I was like, I can't name anyone I don't think that's ever told me Borderlands is one of their favorite games.
Yeah. Well,
it's a franchise I know because that guy with the psycho mask or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just one of those video game characters you recognize.
Yeah.
And I've never had anybody be like, oh man, you got to play
the first.
Borderlands is one of my top. I've never heard anybody say it's in their top 10 favorite franchises.
The first Borderlands was definitely my game of the year when it came out. It was a game.
PS3 was the first one.
We played it on the Xbox 360, so
yeah, PS3.
Probably on PlayStation 3 as well. It was a game that we played all night, me and my cousins, and we played it until Blockbuster opened, so that I could go buy my own copy, so that I can play it with them at home.
Super dated.
Yeah, it was such a good game, and then the second one comes out, and it's fine. I thought it was fine. Everybody loves it. I was annoyed by the characters. I was very happy with the way the story worked in the first one. It's very minimal. There's not much to the story. It's all about the gameplay and the fun look of the characters and shit.
Yeah.
And then the second one is just too much story, and it's a lot of jokey, memey jokes.
Yes, the third one in the first hour and a half that I've played, it has a lot of that too. Like the little robots there, and I'm like, I recognize that guy.
Claptrap was very funny in the first one.
The lady shows up, and she looks a lot like
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, yeah.
Really?
I was just like, huh.
See?
Kind of spot on casting if Kate Blanchett was...
Lilith was just a character in the first one, and then in the second one, they made her a demigod type character.
Yeah.
And then they gave so much character to the four people that had no fucking character in the first one.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have jumped in on the third one.
Maybe.
But because
the third one...
The gameplay's kind of fun.
I think the third one perfected it, and I was just hoping for more. It's so much fun to find a chest that has a gun that you really like, and you use that. And sometimes you get to a higher level place, somebody drops a worse gun, but it does better damage, so you have to use that until you find a gun that you really like.
Right.
And the second one, you got shift codes, which were online, that you could just find. You typed them in at a golden chest. Well, you typed them in, you got shift keys, and then you use those keys to open up a golden chest in the middle of town. So you got the best guns for your level anytime you wanted them.
Oh.
It just took away everything.
Yeah.
About the game that made it interesting.
That's not fun. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know if the movie's going to be good because it's been
not.
like 10 years since there was anything relevant about Borderlands. It doesn't look interesting. I love Eli Roth. I thought I did.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But again, I haven't seen him do a movie.
This.
Yeah, I haven't seen him do a movie since Hostel.
Did you watch? Oh, I guess not.
I haven't seen A House with a Clock in Its Walls.
Well, you watched Finn. We talked about that on this show.
Yes,
that was good.
Yeah,
House with a Clock in Its Walls was good. I watched that with the kid.
I hear it's good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I want to make horror movies. I have Thanksgiving to watch. I haven't watched it yet, though.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that came out.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do that around Thanksgiving time.
That sounds smart.
Maybe. We could do that. I went on... I've been trying to watch more comedy specials because, as I talked about last week, and it's been pretty universally dragged on the internet for how bad Joe Rogan's last comedy special was.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of YouTubers that are just like stand-up comedy and podcast YouTubers.
Yeah.
And they're breaking down, they're like, oh, look, now he goes into this bit from this. And something I talked about, I was like, I recognize two of these jokes from earlier specials.
Really?
And there's more like that he pulled from like older things. And it's like, and people that follow way too much stand-up comedy, they're like, this is something that Rogan does when he starts to sweat. He goes through old material. And I'm like,
oh,
I kind of felt bad for him, but I'm like, you also chose to do this and you have $200 million and that's fine. But then I watched the first, Netflix is billing it as their first crowd work special, which I guess technically it is. Crowd work specials are something that comedians have done a bunch. I think Stavros Halkias did one, Andrew Schultz did one. It's crowd work's a big thing. But it was Matt Rife has his crowd work special. It's called Lucid. The theme of it is he asks people about dreams.
Yeah.
I'm not a Matt Rife fan. I watched some of his specials and a lot of his crowd work clips. I just felt like I wasn't the target demographic for it.
I don't know if I know Matt Rife. I feel like I can see him in my head, and I already do not like him.
He's a handsome dude.
He's the guy with the big chin? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That dude is not funny at all.
Which some people say is fake, which is hilarious that people are saying.
He definitely has a fake chin.
Yeah. Regardless, people says he has fake chin and fake teeth. That's neither here nor there. So I watched it expecting...
artificially handsome.
I watched it expecting to hate it, and I didn't love it, but I'll say this. It was not bad. And it just goes to show...
That dude has a joke, which was... my waitress had a black eye, and I was like, it looks like somebody doesn't listen at home.
Right.
Dude.
Which is a Daniel Tosh joke.
It's 2020.
Yeah. No, we talked about this when that came up, but it's just one of those things. His crowd work special, it just spoke to me about how the Rogan stuff was...
Man, that's a weird looking dude.
Yeah, right? It doesn't look like a normal person. But it just goes to show that if you shoot a special and edit it, you can make something better than recording something live. Like, you don't have to do that.
That's my big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we had this conversation about musicals.
Yeah.
I was supposed to praise...
Take the time and shoot it.
That a movie is like, we got the live recording on set. And it's like, that's not going to be the best recording.
That's what they did with Les Miserables.
Yes.
Like, you didn't have to.
And you shouldn't have.
I mean, you lucked out because it was Hugh Jackman and he could sing. But
you need a studio you have access to it. Yeah. Do it. It's
just one of those things, doing it live, and it doesn't have to be. But what's funny, the Joe Rogan backlash, you know where I found the funniest Joe Rogan backlash? on Reddit
Yeah.
r/Bigfoot.
Why?
They are unhappy with Joe Rogan.
Why?
Because apparently at some point Joe Rogan was a Bigfoot believer.
Yeah.
And now he has people on his podcast and mocks people that believe in Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And so out of all the, Fox News because Joe Rogan said something about endorsing RFK kind of, and the Republicans went crazy. And then he says horrible things about, minority groups, and then left goes crazy. But throughout all this, there's these Bigfoot people on Reddit that are just like, Joe Rogan's lying about Bigfoot, and not enough people are talking about it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing that everyone can get mad at the same person for different reasons.
Yeah, you'd think people would understand he's not that interesting a guy.
Right.
But no, since he's got a big podcast, that must mean he's really interesting.
Right. And even the Bigfoot people can take umbrage with it.
Can we look at it up, Jeff? Put it up on the screen. It's a thing. It's great.
Yeah.
We have on a racist bigot. We're going to talk to him about racism and bigotry.
And not Bigfoot, and that makes people upset.
We got on Bigfoot. We got a Bigfoot believer. He has gout.
That would be the best episode of the Joe Rogan Experience is if he gets Bigfoot on.
You'd have to watch that one.
You'd have to watch that one at that point. That's true.
I don't care for the guy.
Yeah. Well, I know you don't. I just thought it was funny that you would appreciate the Bigfoot people being mad at him as well.
No, I didn't. My grandfather is a Bigfoot believer.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was. I don't know. Yeah. He passed on.
Well, I thought something changed his mind. Like he was just like, no, I've had it up to here with Bigfoot. I've come back around.
No, the warm embrace of death took care of that worry.
In Florida, we had the skunk ape.
Yeah.
Which I feel like Bigfoot was like the starter of cryptozoology in Americas, and I feel like a lot of other local places have kind of glommed onto it. They're like, oh, we have a Bigfoot too. And it's just like, do you?
Yeah.
I don't think the skunk ape. It's like in, there's a lake up near New York, Lake Champlain. It's like New York, Vermont area, and they claim to have a Nessie there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
they're trying.
Yeah, I don't think you do. I think it's way too cold for a plesiosaur to be there.
You got your Mothman. You got your Jersey Devil.
Oh, yeah, but those are at least a little bit different. It's not just we also have a Bigfoot, but this one smells bad, and we call him the skunk ape.
They weren't even creative enough to get out of the realm of...
If you have a Bigfoot, we have a chupacabra. That's fine. The Jersey Devil's kind of a new twist on things because Satan's involved. It's not just like, oh, there's another Nessie in Vermont.
The devil.
You gotta love it. Speaking of... I have no segue, but I did want to talk about. Went up to a quick trip quick trip to New York. Saw two plays. The play that goes wrong, which is hilarious, probably the most I've ever laughed at live theater. And we saw Little Shop of Horrors, which was great.
Awesome.
With Sarah Hyland and an actor whose name I forget, but he was in a movie with Jennifer Lawrence recently. Everyone was great.
Chris Pratt.
No, different guy. The puppet in Little Shop of Horrors was incredible.
Awesome
for the plant. It's Broadway, of course.
We have to get to Broadway.
Yeah. Oh, that was a big announcement, too. I sent you that
I want to
text.
go to Glenn Ross.
I want to say that was episode 2 of this show that I recommended that you read Glenn Ross by Mamet. And it just announced it on Broadway, so it's going to be Bob Odenkirk as Shelley Levine, Kieran Culkin as Roma, and
Bill Burr
as Moss. Yeah. The guy that was originally...
pardon me?
Ed Harris played him in the movie. So,
that's pretty exciting.
I've got Google Alerts set for that whenever those tickets go on sale.
But I also want to go see Waiting for Godot. They're bringing that back.
Are they really?
Starring who? You don't know yet?
No.
Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter.
Bill and Ted themselves.
Bill and Ted.
Bill S. Preston and Theodore Logan.
Yeah, dude. We got Mamet and we got Beckett.
That's pretty
coming
great.
To Broadway with an all-star cast on both of them.
I love it. I love to see it.
I love it. You love to see it. Broadway's back. I cannot wait. I want to get tickets to both of these things so bad.
It's definitely one of those things where, seeing... Obviously, I think with the Glenn Ross, I kind of want to see all those people on stage. Bob Odenkirk is the one that makes the most sense for
Yeah.
that because I'm like, he can do serious, and obviously he's does sketch comedy and
Yeah.
he's been a stage actor before.
Bill Burr can do it too. I'm interested, and yes, Bob Odenkirk's done stage performances before.
I mean, he did Mr. Show Live and stuff
Exactly.
like that too. Like,
Yeah.
and he's also been very serious in like Better Call Saul and that one episode of The Bear where he
Yeah.
gets into a fight with John Barenthal.
And Keanu Reeves is one of those guys that cares about the craft enough that he will put in
Right.
to getting a stage performance.
And he doesn't seem like the type of person that would do it. Like there are some people I feel like they just do Broadway or live theater to be like, oh, I can do this too. Look at what I'm a serious actor too.
Yes.
So I'm also doing this.
I hear what you're saying.
Where Keanu Reeves is just like, this will be fun, and I got my buddy.
Yeah.
And
He's
we're
like, I'm
do
doing this with
together.
Alex Winter, and we're going to explore a very emotional play together.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
super
like
interesting.
so fucking cool, man.
I think Bill Burr is Moss, the kind of sort of the antagonist of that play.
Yeah. I think that's a great choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Bill Burr could do it.
This is going to be great. Yeah. It all comes down
And
to
Kieran Culkin as
stage presence.
Kieran Culkin as Roma.
Yeah. I have no doubt. That guy is built like a theater kid.
If he just plays that as the same way he played being Roman in Succession, it's going to be... You never watched Succession, did you?
No.
Oh, God, he's so fucking good in that show.
But
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I will say
It's just
also
gonna be great.
in New York, I went to the restaurant Hamburger America. Got a sticker for it up there. You know who George Motz is?
No.
You've probably seen him on YouTube and stuff.
George Motz.
He wrote made a documentary called Hamburger America, and about the history of the American hamburger and all the different local types of hamburgers.
I see. Okay.
He made his restaurant in New York where he does smash burgers with like a whole bunch. They're Oklahoma fried onion burgers, like really thinly shaved onions, and it's just burger patty, salt, pepper, whole bunch of onions, and American cheese and a potato roll.
Yeah.
And we got there early on Saturday morning, and he was cooking.
Oh, cool.
So he actually sits behind the line. If you wait and sit at the counter, he'll make your burger for you.
Cool.
It might have just been the fact that it was, the atmosphere and everything like that kind of gets to you, and you're like, oh, this is really good. But I was just like, holy shit, this is the best burger I've ever had.
I'm sure it's incredible. Yeah.
And reasonably priced too. It wasn't like a touristy. It's down in the Village, so it was great. Oh, we also went to the Museum of Ice Cream.
I'm going to DC tomorrow.
What for?
Yes, for Ben Schwartz.
Oh,
Yes,
that's fun.
he'll be here.
The Ben Schwartz improv thing.
Yes,
That's fun. Who's he doing
Schwartz
that
and
with?
Friends. It's announced on the day.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. What are the odds of Middle Ditch?
I would say 1 and 2. I would say
50% chance of Middle
50%.
Ditch.
Yeah.
That's gonna be dope if Middle Ditch shows up.
I don't know. I'm excited. Period. Benny Schwartz is always one of my favorites.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like the type of person that would bring up some,
Yeah.
person he wasn't completely confident in.
Yeah.
Where is that? Is that Warner Theater?
The Anthem.
Oh, the Anthem's dope.
Yeah. So I'll be at the Wharf for the first time.
Yeah.
In a long ass fucking
Since
time.
it reopened.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know where to eat.
I'm sure there's some good spots. in there.
I've been looking, and it's got hoity-toity all over it.
Hmm.
But of course, and I don't know if I want to hit hoity-toity. I think there's a pub out there. I'll probably do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or you can just take the metro somewhere else.
You said Museum of Ice Cream.
Yes.
How's that go?
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. It's super pink. It's like a Willy Wonka of ice cream thing. What I love about touristy places, because it is a touristy place, and you get unlimited ice cream while you're in there, and they have like fun little. It's sort of like you can go on a Sunday, which is their normal off day, for certain hours and pay double the price to have a limited tour, and it's like, oh, that's for people that want to pose on Instagram.
Yes.
Like it definitely has the vibe of the lighting's right in this room. Here's a place where you can sit and like look like you're
Smart
by
move.
yourself.
Yeah.
It's an Instagram. It's basically an Instagram photo shoot, which is what I did for my kid, and it was a blast. Ice cream was good, but what I love about places like that in New York is, I feel like a lot of the people working in that type of place, if that place was in Orlando, it would be dreadful to be there. But I feel like a lot of people in Manhattan, they have theater energy. Like maybe a lot of them maybe they want to work at the Museum of Ice Cream. I'm not trying to poop on anyone's dreams if that's what you want to do. But a lot of them had the energy of they want to be an actor, or they are an actor, or they're like an acting student or something like that. So it's just fucking...
Good energy.
It's magical. Like everyone there is so nice.
It's a completely different atmosphere when you have people that are
They're actually giving a shit.
bright and involved. Yeah.
It's like you go to a petting zoo and someone's just like poking a goat with a stick. You're like, this isn't super fun for anybody involved. The best part of the Museum of Ice Cream, though, is there's a cleaning staff going around. The dog's barking at someone.
Yeah.
I think it's Amazon. That's one of your recommendations for next week that's pulling up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, did you just premonition that?
Premonition that?
Yeah.
No.
All you did was sit down and you say, dog's barking. I think it's Amazon.
No, I heard the dog. I heard the dog ahead of time.
It's a recommendation for tomorrow.
Is it Amazon? I think it's Amazon. Oh, yeah. That's Amazon. It's a weird part of doing the thing at noon is there's people moving about in the house. Normally the dog's just down here chilling with us. But no, the cleaning staff of the Museum of Ice Cream, because there's kids there, and it's a bunch of touching stuff.
There got to be a lot of vomit. There got to be a lot of vomit.
No.
Kids eat way too much ice cream.
There are two women that I saw walking around, and they pop in and out of like little side doors from behind curtains. It's a real Willy Wonka.
Oompa Loompa
It's a real Willy Wonka situation.
Holy!
But these women just have Mr. Clean magic eraser sponges for kids with their sticky little fucking fingerprints, like just touching the walls and everything. Because they're giving the kids like fudge brownie ice cream in a cone. All over. And then they want to play whack-a-mole, and it's just like you just see women just pop out, like,
I have to
like little Mr. Clean ninjas. They just like pop out of the wall and then just scrub the wall.
I have to know the vomit situation there. There's no way that they haven't have a contingency.
There's so what the
kids do not know when to stop when it comes to ice cream.
The funny thing is the kid recommended it because she was everything she wanted to do in New York. She found out about on TikTok. Great marketing for TikTok. And I looked up Museum of Ice Cream, and the first thing that popped up there was that a father was there with his daughter and is suing them for permanent injury. And I'm just like,
permanent injury.
I was like, am I going to get Willy Wonka here? Like, am I going to get hurt?
What do you mean permanent injury? She turned blue and big.
They have this pool that's filled with quote unquote sprinkles or jimmies or whatever you call them wherever you're from. But they're just like little hard plastic things, like they're about the size of, I don't know, like,
they weren't
like
real
like a liquid death can, but it's like hollow plastic, like wiffle ball material.
Yeah,
but it looks like you're in a pool full of sprinkles, so you can take Instagram pictures. And there's fake diving boards. This thing's about maybe 8 inches deep, filled with these things.
Somebody went in for it.
Some dad jumped in and broke his ankle. I'm like, that's really on you.
No, I mean, you kind of set it up to be like, jump on in, and then somebody does and they break their ankle.
But you can see a toddler standing.
Yes, I can understand that.
Like that kid's standing upright, and you jump in. Oh, did you see that Disney lawsuit?
No.
That's the most bananas.
Oh, yes, I know what you mean.
So
a woman sadly passed at a restaurant.
And this is something that we're all party to, actually. So there's a...
What do you mean I'm party to it?
Well, you're actually not, but I am.
Oh.
So there's a woman who went to eat at a Walt Disney park. I think it was Walt Disney World. It was Orlando. And she went to eat. She told the staff she has a nut allergy, seafood allergy, dairy allergy.
Yeah.
Like bad. Let them know that. That's a serious thing. We've both worked in food service before.
You clean up. When somebody comes in and they say they have a seafood allergy or a peanut allergy,
right?
You clean.
I've told people like
everything.
A place that I worked where we had...
You replace utensils. Mm-hmm. You clean up the cutting board.
Because people...
You replace foods items.
Right. And people that have a real allergy treat it differently than people that have a bullshit allergy.
Yes.
Like people that walk in and be like, I have a gluten allergy.
Yeah.
It's like, do you?
Yeah.
No, I think you're just being obnoxious. But if someone comes in and they're like, seriously, I have a shrimp allergy.
Yeah.
I'll die.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, now we're going to...
Yeah. You put it in high gear. It's... work, like but we you have it down to a science when somebody comes in.
You have separate cutting boards, you have sterilization things, you put on gloves, you take care of everything.
Yep.
We had like frozen shrimp at one of the places that I work, and if someone comes in and says they have a shellfish allergy, I'm like, don't eat anything out of the fryer because we try to keep it all in this, but I can't guarantee that it's not in.
Yeah. I would say stay away, but because I don't have eyes on it.
Right.
If I'm working all day, yes, we have a shellfish fryer, and we have just a deep fryer.
Right, but I don't clean the fryer every day.
But I do clean the fryer every day. But if somebody else is working there, I don't trust them. So I'll say, maybe don't.
Right. So this lady, sadly, she ate at the Disney park. And then when they left, she was feeling sick. And then she passed away. They gave her an EpiPen and everything like that. But, they didn't do their job. So, and then the husband sued for $50,000, which, first of all, lowballed the shit out of Disney. And if I were Disney, I would have just paid that to get this out of it. He wasn't asking for $50 million. He wasn't asking for anything. He said wrongful death.
I don't even know if that covers funeral.
I don't think it does. Especially because you imagine they're at Disney. They're probably out of state. So if you're Disney and this lawsuit comes up, why do you not just pay that. You write a check then and there. You're like, okay,
You're claiming fault right there.
You say
for a place that's famously nobody's died at this park type thing, you know?
I guess that must be the mindset.
That has to be the only mindset.
What Disney did instead is they said that this man in 2019 signed up for a free trial of Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And in the usage agreement, the user end licensing or whatever the hell, the terms of service,
EULA.
He says that any argument or lawsuit brought to Disney will be settled through arbitration.
Yeah.
So I'm party to that too. So apparently if Disney wants to sue me, we can arbitrate. I think that's great.
That's wild.
But
that's evil.
It's evil that it's in there.
Yeah.
But it's a real you know the Streisand effect, right?
Yeah, of course.
If people don't know, the Streisand effect was there's this thing about Malibu and people are like,
they're taking a survey.
They're saying like the beach erosion, all these mega mansions and stuff, they're contributing to decay of the environment and everything like that. And the picture that they used was Barbra Streisand's thing. No one knew it was Barbra Streisand's house. Like you can't look at it. It's not a big sign that says, you know, Streisand here. Yeah. It's just an aerial shot of a house. She sued the company to take down that picture because she says, hey, this is my house. So the Streisand effect is when you make a
big deal out
drawing
of it.
attention to something by trying
yeah.
to get rid of something. So the fact that Disney's like, no, we have to arbitrate, just like, dude, you could have just written this guy a $50,000 check in this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if he said, we're going to give you 100, sign this paper that you're not going to bring this up, he'd probably sign it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he's taking you to court for 50, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sad that happened.
Yeah.
I'm sad that there's no justice.
There's a horrible. So he's $50,000. It's a Florida thing. Florida has a wrongful death act. So if
I die in Florida,
$50,000,
you get $50,000.
It feels like that came up a lot to the point where Florida needs to have a flat fee for wrongful death. My home county, or one of my home counties in Florida, Manatee County, they have a law in the books. It's one of my favorite things to bring up. They have a law in the books that it's illegal to tie an alligator to a fire hydrant. And the fact that that's a law means it came up.
Yeah.
Like
it means the house is burning down and they were like, I can't get near this fire hydrant.
In my headcanon for that, someone was burning down their ex's house, and when the firemen show up, they had tied an alligator to the fire hydrant to stop them from putting out the burning house. And when they said, you can't do that, they said, show me on the law where it says I can't tie an alligator to a fire hydrant.
I would say that they killed the alligator, and the guy was like, oh, I'm taking you straight to court.
But the fact that they have to have that law means, I don't know, it's a horrible situation. I just think Disney fucked up big time on that.
I got something off topic that I think is interesting.
Let's go for it.
I did the Pepsi challenge recently. Yeah.
Wait, where you taste Pepsi and Coke?
At work. Yeah. Apparently some guy came out and he said that he could taste the difference of every Coke and Pepsi product. And we called shenanigans, which meant the next time we had a meeting, we set it up with Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero, Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, Pepsi Max, Pepsi Zero, whichever one.
It's Pepsi Zero now, but Pepsi Max was a cooler name.
So we all did it to see how well everybody did.
How'd you do?
I got 1 out of them.
Out of 6?
Yes. One of the things is they taste wildly different when you taste them all together.
Well,
that was the crazy one. The other thing, I've always said that I prefer Coke over Pepsi, and this solidified it.
Yeah.
Coke was the only one that I was like, that's Coke, that's delicious.
How were the beverages?
What do you mean?
Bottle, can, fountain? What are we talking?
They were from a bottle.
20-ounce bottle?
Yeah.
Were they poured into a different receptacle?
Yes, Dixie cups. Yes. And they were placed on a sheet of paper that had numbers underneath them. I'm
drinking a Coca-Cola Zero Sugar with my Ritual bourbon.
Yes.
And this tastes different than Coca-Cola Zero Sugar out of a can. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar out of the bottle can take a fucking hike. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar out of a fountain is different.
Now I can get into something. I
could taste the difference out of all of those.
All right, so now we're going to have to bring it. How do I see that? Here's the problem. I don't know how I get a fountain drink here to prove that you can't.
I bet you I could.
I bet you can't. If I got a bottle of Coke Zero,
I could taste the Coke
if
Zero
I got a
fountain.
can of Coke Zero,
I could taste the difference if it's movie theater, if it's at McDonald's, if it's at Five Guys Burgers and Fries.
You are insane. insane.
You're doubting my palate.
Yes, I am doubting palate.
I'm doubting your ability to speak with
I'm
your
doubting
palate.
the palate.
Yeah, you dabble my palate?
I dabble that palate, boy.
Yeah.
Ew, no.
Oh. It took a turn.
Can I dabble in that palate, boy?
No, I think Pepsi Max is the only Pepsi product that I enjoy.
Yeah?
Yeah, regular Pepsi, no. No, thank you.
I didn't like any of them.
Right.
And the only one that I thought was good was Coke.
Yeah.
And I don't drink Coke.
Well, you're a regular Coke man.
I mean, I haven't had a Coke in
Yeah.
fucking years.
That could be part of it. I cannot stand Diet Coke. It tastes metallic. We have a buddy that drinks Diet Coke and hates Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It's wildly different. It's wildly different.
I think a lot of it's just in your head at some point, too.
Dude, I'm telling you, I had them all back to back.
Coke was the only one you liked, huh?
Coke was the only one I liked.
Huh.
Pepsi tasted wildly sweeter than Coke.
I'd be interested to see that same thing, but since my new affinity for NAs, like being able to, people could taste the NA from the un-NA.
Oh, absolutely.
Just the A.
Oh, yes, because I went to a party one time, and the fridge had NA as well as
A.
And I was grabbing A's for a while, and then I would go in and grab an NA, and I was drinking it, and I was like, man, I'm putting this one down like water. And it was like, that's the NA, Jake. And I was like, oh, I see why it's so drinkable, as the ads say.
I had, I took a bottle of my Ritual, the fake bourbon. I gave it to someone for the first time. I'm like, try it. It tastes just like a bourbon and Coke. And their first response was, it's been too long since you've had bourbon.
Yeah.
This tastes nothing like a bourbon and
It
Coke.
smells like it,
Right.
but it does lack that
Oh, shit.
bourbony taste.
Breaking news.
What?
Live on the pod. Matthew Perry's assistants, 2 doctors, and others have been charged with providing the drug that caused his death.
Well,
If it was in Florida, they'd get $50,000.
somebody would get 50 grand.
not if they signed up for Disney Plus, apparently. Shit, we need to get into our recommendations. It's been 40 fucking minutes.
Okay, bud.
All right, let's talk about your recommendation for... Oh, these are both 2 pretty quick things.
Yeah.
Actually, let's talk about mine first. So I recommended a documentary, Love, Charlie. It's available on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a cricket.
There's a cicada or something in here. Daytime podcasts have a whole new set of issues. So, Love, Charlie, the rise and fall of Chef Charlie Trotter. And so this came out in 2021. I think it just popped up on Netflix because it popped up on my Netflix queue.
All I can hear is that motherfucker, dude. Where is it?
Behind me. I work.
Hell yeah, dude.
Motherfucker. God, this is a weird podcast. So Charlie Trotter was a chef based out of Chicago. Really great documentary. He's not one of the big names that people talk about when they talk about really famous chefs, at least the newer generation of people.
Everybody knows who Emerald is.
Right. Everyone knows your Emerald. Everyone knows Bourdain. Everyone knows Bobby Flay, those type of people. Charlie Trotter, more so than those people, he stayed in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Like he really was a chef. He wasn't a TV personality chef. He did TV stuff and he wrote books.
He tried. He did. Yeah, he was on TV a couple times. He was in a movie.
Right. So he was in a
Runaway Bride?
No. Wedding Planner, I think.
Wedding Planner?
One of them.
One of those.
Yeah.
Julia
One of those
Roberts.
One of those weird movies. My Best Friend's Wedding?
My Best Friend's Wedding.
So I sent this to Jake because I thought it was a great documentary. I think it was a good, not a biopic, but a biographical documentary for an interesting chef guy that you hadn't heard about. Yeah. So Jake, how'd you like the documentary?
This was wonderful.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was. I feel vague, like I remember him maybe a little bit. Like I've probably seen him before.
Yeah.
Because I have an affinity for food.
You do?
So, like, when they show... But, like, you're learning about him, and he's an interesting guy, and I love the way that he got started. I love that he's just, like, he's just a passionate guy, and then he just... his passions just ended up, like, landing in food. And from there... He just innovated and just kept innovating in like wildly fun ways. He affected people in the most astounding way, And
the way he affected people, I think it was a cool thing about the documentary was depending on when you met him, you had very differing opinions on who he was.
Yes. Yeah. Where even his first wife was like going to the restaurant and seeing him and just like, oh, that's not Chuck that I'm seeing back there. And it makes sense because, I feel like he's a big reason why food has this type of culture around it, you know, where you should be in the kitchen forever and you should be dedicated to your food,
right?
Like a madman, you know. But he had a really good way of saying it, which affected me when he was talking, because he was supposed to be at work when he was young. He was supposed to be at his first restaurant job at 4:00.
Yeah.
But he would show up at 10 a.m.
Right.
and start working. And they're like, "We're not going to pay you." He's like, "You're not paying me." He's like, "I'm here, you know, because I want to be." He's like,
right.
You are paying me. I'm accepting the pay that you pay me for this. I want to do a good job.
Right.
And you're like, and I'm not going to do a good job unless I start at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
I was like, I understand that mentality of a person so much.
Right.
And I saw how much it benefited him and also how much it affected him.
And
you know?
it did affect him negatively too, because part of this, I mean, spoilers for this, it's history, but
yeah.
I mean, check out the documentary. It's an hour.
Check out the documentary.
An hour and a half
Absolutely.
on Netflix.
It's a 3.
So at one point, he kind of a sad part before his dad passes. His dad is heavily involved in this, and his dad is a successful businessman, and essentially tells him, "You're not going to work for me. You need to find your own way to do it." But he has that kind of businessman mentality, like what you were saying. You're supposed to be here at 4, but you can't get your job done at 4. You show up at 10 to make sure you can do your job at 4:00.
Yes.
And I think it's an interesting look into having this work ethic, not so much work ethic, but this kind of maniacal drive about something, and then not being able to comprehend why other people don't have that same drive.
Yes.
Where other people who will be like, "No, I'm supposed to be here at 4. I'll get here at 4."
Yeah.
Instead of
like, that's
being
my mentality. It's like, you're not paying me until I'm here at 4. I'm going to show up at 4. Well,
right.
Also, we both had a fantastic boss who told us, if you're 10 minutes early or 5 minutes late, that's in my head forever and always. But other than that,
but I'm just saying,
to do my job.
The passion for it. He didn't understand.
His passion.
He didn't understand working as just a job.
Yes.
He's like, no. This is what we're here to do.
That cricket's gonna fucking kill me, dog.
No, I'm gonna kill it. It's gonna be an issue. If I feel like if the dog was down here, the cricket wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And also I feel like the snake's not doing its job. We got a new snake. Did I tell you that?
No.
New snake.
Why isn't he slacking?
It's a little snake. It's a little
Damn
tiny
it.
snake.
But
Big
that
snake.
thing-
Big snake's gone.
That thing is going to drive me nuts. I cannot be here for the rest of the podcast.
One cool thing about the show is it had little talking heads, and one of them was Grant Achatz, who worked for Charlie, and then he went on to start Alinea, which was...
Yes. I am not a huge fan of molecular gastronomy.
No. But it's not my favorite type of cooking
He
either.
is an extremely interesting guy.
So if people don't know...
I knew about him.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
from Alinea.
So
and
when they show him...
He has his own interesting story.
Yes,
like he's a chef.
exactly.
He is a chef, Michelin-starred chef, and then during all that, he gets tongue cancer.
Yes.
Which is...
so wild.
So strangely specific.
Absolutely
that
a
you're
big
a chef.
F-U.
He's the only person I've ever heard of that has had tongue cancer.
A man who relies on that mother.
He's a cook.
So
it's like Beethoven going deaf.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. It's like, that's what you're there for. And he is one of the people that obviously had the same drive as Charlie.
Yeah.
So he didn't speak ill of him. He was like, no, I got it.
Yeah.
I got
but
what he was doing
like,
here.
I don't know if we're friends or enemies.
Right.
He's like the whole time.
Right.
And then, like, the thing was, when it came to that class action lawsuit against him for unpaid wages.
Employees paid him sued him because they felt they weren't getting paid, and also it was a toxic work environment and stuff like that.
Because you didn't start work until, like, if I was at prep table, I'd have to start prepping, and that's when I get paid. But if I had to get everything set up so that I could start prepping, I'm not paid for that. So I'd have to show up an hour early.
Which is not an unreasonable way to think.
One, I could see their way as well.
Right.
Because I'm not here for the passion.
If you're paying people by the hour, pay people by the hour.
Yes.
But if you're on
I'm
on a salary position,
if I was on
you show up and get the
salary,
job done.
Yes.
That's the whole
I would
point.
Understand that.
I've been on salary and I was unhappy with that. And I'm like, hey, we're not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, this is killing me.
Yeah.
And, it's whatever. But it's also how you agree for the job. But I think it was funny that one of the guys that was a party of that lawsuit, I think he got paid out $50,000 because someone died in Florida. And he...
it was the Alinea guy. They were having a documentary about him, and they were like, what if we go back to Charlie Trotter and we talk to him? And he goes up to the restaurant and he knocks on the door. Charlie opens the door to him, and Charlie's like, "Did you sue anybody lately?"
Yeah.
He's like,
"Get the fuck out of here."
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You here for $50,000? What are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here!" Yeah. I was like, "Charlie, okay, man."
Yeah.
He was like, "So I think he was really mad at me." But they, Alinea gets their 3 Michelin stars, right?
Charlie gets 2.
Charlie gets 2, but Charlie still has nothing but great things to say about. I keep forgetting his name.
Grant Achatz.
Grant. And I was like, that's the type of guy who Charlie is.
Yeah.
I get that mentality because, just being in the food industry for a little while, there's people that step into the kitchen and it's like, get the hell out of my way.
Right.
I have to do this job. Please don't make me so upset.
Right.
Keep everything going. But when they step out, they're the warmest people. They have nothing but the kindest thing to say to you.
Completely different off the clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once they're off the clock, that's when the stress kind of just melts off pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I get that. I was really understanding that mentality a lot better watching Charlie
I thought
do that stuff.
You'd get it.
Yes. I got it big time. Especially when the poor guy went for a run, had a damn seizure.
The 30th anniversary of his restaurant,
Yes.
I think? No, not 30th.
So it was an anniversary.
Anniversary, yeah. 20th or something.
The poor guy had a seizure
while he was jogging.
He went to the hospital. He hates hospitals, so he left and went to the anniversary party.
Mm-hmm. And everyone was saying how he looked flushed and everything like that.
He did look really, really rough.
Yeah.
And it was
because he had a seizure that morning.
Yeah, and that's like the negative side of this type of passion.
Workaholism.
I'm really happy that this documentary showed both sides of it.
Yeah.
Where it is something that I find very empowering and inspiring. Watching somebody who can tell me is like, this is how I get things done and this is how I feel about things. It felt incredible. Charlie has a way with words that makes me feel like I would love to work with the guy. And I felt like I would want to do that for him.
That's why the thing was called Love Charlie, is he had a habit of writing people letters, just handwritten on postcards, just scribbling, and everyone, it speaks a lot to him as a person that he would have this effect. The people would be like, oh yeah, I saved everything he wrote me.
Yeah.
Just there's certain like little keepsakes and mementos from people. Some of it you're like, I'm gonna trash that, but some of it you're just like, I'm gonna keep this.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see this.
Yeah.
He feels like an unsung hero.
And Bourdain was in it.
Yeah. Bourdain was in it?
Oh no, he wasn't. He was in the he mentioned him briefly.
Yeah. Him, Emerald, and Charlie went to started traveling the world.
Right. And there's at one point where Charlie Trotter was giving a speech.
Yeah.
And people were talking over it, and Bourdain kind of lost his shit. Just like in a very Bourdain way, just being like, you have no idea what this guy did, what he accomplished. Like, this was made after Bourdain passed away, but he just his leftover thing. I was thinking of Bourdain legacy. Because he was, after I watched this, talked to my dad about it, and my dad said, you have to watch this other one, which I don't want to do this back to back, but it's a bonus rec. It's a documentary that you can watch. It's about Jeremiah Tower, who's another big chef, and he started out in California.
I wish Mind of a Chef was still a thing. I don't know if it is. That was a really fun show.
I'm sure it'll come back. But Jeremiah Tower, he started in the 70s out in California. He kind of started the whole California chef culture, where it's like, we're not cooking European food, we're not cooking French food or Italian food. He's like, we're using this stuff in California. Kind of came up along the side of the California wine culture as well. So he had a place out there around San Francisco, and it's called Jeremiah Tower, The Last Magnificent. Anthony Bourdain produced that documentary because it came out on CNN, and he's heavily involved in that. So you should watch that one next, because you would love it. Jeremiah Tower is a very fuck you guy.
I would never go back to that lifestyle, being in food industry. I can't understand it, but I honestly am very, very inspired by these people. It's beautiful to find a passion. It reminds me of the episode of Forks really well from Bear.
Great show.
Where you're just like, it clicks at some point with somebody. It clicks with Richie, and then at that point you're like, I'm at home and I'm doing nothing. I could be reading about restaurant culture and what I could do for these things.
Did you finish season 3 of The Bear?
No, I haven't even started yet.
Gotta watch.
I kind of like worried. I don't want to.
Yeah, it's definitely made because they're already making season 4.
Oh yeah,
it has that vibe.
Okay, but it's a lot like that, where at some point you kind of just break, and when you rebuild yourself with that part that's like, I can do this really well.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I can understand the commitment that's necessary to make this place shine.
Yeah. So yeah, check that out on Netflix.
Yes.
Love Charlie. Available on Netflix.
I also want his freaking cookbook. That thing looks beautiful.
Right. It's hard to find.
I have no doubt.
It's like out of print now.
But wow. Yeah.
I think my dad has a copy of it.
I can see how Grant would say, like, that was an inspiring moment to
It would
him.
look good over on my shelf of other cookbooks.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I forgot about
Look
this.
at those photos in Charlie Trotter's cookbook, because that was amazing.
It kind of revolutionized the way cookbooks are made,
Yes.
where it's not just a recipe book, where it's kind of cookbooks now, like good ones, they could almost take the place of coffee table books.
Yeah.
Because they've got like beautiful pictures and like little stories and everything like that.
The way that they talked about this, where you can see the ingredients in these wonderful photos, like you can look at it and you could be like, that's where the morel mushrooms come in, and how you set it up and plate it. And you're like, that is amazing to focus on that
shit
part
like that's
of it.
why I was upset with my video that I filmed.
Yeah,
right.
right.
It didn't go.
It takes a lot to
But I
do
will
that
say
type
this.
of shit.
I forgot to mention this in my New York trip. A listener, Adam, who's a CIA grad, the good CIA, the cooking one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I texted him and was just like, "Hey, you know, I'm a cookie man. I'm
Yeah.
double blue ribbon cookies."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Ask your people, like, where's the best cookie spot in New York?" And they sent me to this place called Culture Espresso.
Yeah.
Fucking chocolate chip cookie the size of your face.
Yeah.
Warm, and it had like the big hunks of chocolate in it, but it's like warm from the oven, so it's still like super gooey.
I'm a quality man, not a quantity man.
No. It was good size,
Yeah.
like hearty chocolate chip cookie. It was just enough cakey, crisp around the outside. So shout out to him and all of his chef friends, because
They found you a good cookie,
I asked for a cookie and they sent me to the right cookie place.
That's what I'm talking about, boy.
Cookies I love a good cookie.
Thank you,
All right.
listener Adam.
Let's get into Jake's recommendation for me, Simone Giertz. Jake, take it away.
Yeah, man. So it was just something that popped up in my algorithm, the one where it's called, like, do I regret starting my own business? And
Yeah, let me pull that up, because that's her most recent one.
yes.
Was starting a product business a mistake?
Yes, was starting a product business a mistake? And I was like, I remember her. So I was like, let me see what she's up to. It's only like 10, 15 minutes or something like that. And I was watching it, and she's well-spoken, but it's also feels reminiscent of what you're trying to establish with your podcast.
Yeah.
That's what I felt paralleling with what you're doing, where she's like, you know, I'm very impassioned by these things,
Right.
and I have these talents, and putting them into something to create something feels taxing, and sometimes shows no results, and sometimes
I'm
has
feeling that.
negative results.
Yeah.
But would I change anything? She's like, absolutely not. She's like, this is one of the greatest things. And she's like, and I've decided to document it.
Yeah.
And I want to do this and show you guys how all of this works. And I was like, this is really cool. And I'm really looking forward to what she does with this idea.
So her product that she came up with, it's a coat hanger that folds,
Yeah.
so you can hang up against a wall, which is very, I guess, useful in a very specific way.
Yeah.
If you don't have like a full closet,
Right. Exactly right.
It's very funny that she even put into her most recent video people on YouTube that were responding to her just by turning the top of some coat hanger sideways, and she's like, "Don't do that."
No, well, she's like, you're not understanding the product.
But yeah, she's great. So she's from Sweden.
Yeah.
No accent on her. Like, I don't know what it is. Specifically, Scandinavian people, when they speak English, it sounds American. Whereas, like, if German people speak English, it sounds like they're speaking English with a German accent. You know what I mean?
You guys ever notice when Germans speak English, they speak with a German accent?
That's why I do stand-up comedy. You know how Germans be like when they're speaking English?
I'm over here being like Guten Tag, and it sounds perfect in German.
Regardless, she's great. She's been on YouTube. I do remember
way back when, right?
So yeah, it was like probably 7-8 years ago. She had a thing where it was an alarm clock, which was a rotating hand attached to the wall above her bed,
and so slapped her in the face.
Right, and she's great. Like as a content creator,
funny.
I think,
and then she got a brain tumor.
Yeah,
and that's when she kind of just fell off my radar, you know, because I stopped being on Reddit, and that's where I saw her first. Mm-hmm. And then here she is years later, and I'm like, I recognize that person. And her being open about this stuff and talking about it is really interesting.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think you would be interested in that.
No.
How her story is going.
She definitely gets a 3 from me. I think it's great seeing people that show their process, which is another thing. Friend of the show, Bobby Fingers, he does that as well.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to show you when things go poorly.
Yeah.
And then they kind of sit and like kick back and be like,
she has a sense of humor like Bobby Fingers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we'll show you where it messed up because it's kind of funny that it happened.
Right.
Yeah.
She's very talented. I watched an interview that she did on Colbert a couple years ago.
Yes.
So she was on Colbert and she talked about how she calls them her shitty inventions. Yeah. And then he asked how she learned how to do this. And the most fascinating thing is she's like, oh, just Google. I was paying people to do stuff, and I was like, I'll just learn how to do it myself, which is something I love doing. I refinished this table down here.
Yeah, boy.
The podcast table. I like to just Google it. And
DIY.
Same thing with like little editing stuff. I mean, setting up the podcast equipment, what I needed. That was all the same thing. I'm just like, so anybody who's doing this stuff, and it's one of the mantras of this podcast. If you care about what you're doing, it's fucking fascinating to watch you do it.
Yeah, she fell off my radar for 7-8 years, right? But she's been trugging along this whole time.
Yeah.
Doing it and loving it the entire time, you know.
She's definitely worth a follow. Again, it's the YouTube is at Simone, Simone Giertz, Giertz, because Sweden. Fascinating videos. Definitely just click around her page and find something that's interesting
Still
to you.
Funny stuff that she made.
She made an exoskeleton for her 3-legged dog, which was fascinating. I think one of her favorite ones is she, going to what you were talking about with just her figuring out how to do stuff in the process, she has this idea that she wanted to make a robot arm out of stained glass because she likes stained glass.
Yeah.
So it's just a little robot arm, like a little 3-function, like claw grabber robot arm. And she makes that of stained glass, and it just doesn't work. Like, it keeps cracking, and she gets, like, visibly frustrated, and it's a really well-made video. And she just plods along, like, regroups, figures out, and makes it work for no real purpose other than I made a robot arm out of stained glass because I wanted to. It's like in Billy Madison where he's like, I drew the duck blue because I've never seen a blue duck before. Like, she has that same vibe. She also made a, before they announced the Cybertruck, she turned a Tesla Model 3 into a truck.
Yeah.
And
damn, that's
it's called
funny.
Truckla, and it looks so much better than the Cybertruck. It looks like, you remember...
I saw one in real life. Did I tell you about that
Cybertruck?
Yes.
Yeah, there were a bunch of them in Manhattan. I'm like, why is that here?
They look so bad in real life.
So
I thought they looked cool in photos.
Yeah, you and Tucker Carlson love them.
Yeah. Until you see it in real life.
Just another thing you and Tucker Carlson have.
Just one of the many things
that you and Tucker have.
We like sunlight on our perineum, and we love Cybertrucks.
And fly fishing. But no, she's great. And then she like gets invited to the Tesla launch of the Cybertruck, and they're like, don't bring your truck. Like, that was like in the thing. They tell her, don't bring Truckla with you, and she does anyway, which is just outstanding work. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can't recommend her. Yes. She's a definite 3.
I'll give you a side rec if you enjoy the engineering side of what the stuff that she does. There is a YouTuber called How Stuff Is Made. It's called I Make Stuff. And he has the same type of thing where he goes down a rabbit hole where he wants to be the best frisbee golf player. So he made a cannon that shoots.
I like
discs.
to make stuff.
Yeah, stuff is made.
I like to make stuff.
I don't know. It's I thought it was
3 million subscribers. Dude with a beard.
No beard. Just glasses. Looks like a nerd.
Everyone on YouTube looks like a nerd.
Yeah, damn right. No, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Damn it, stuff it's made here, maybe.
All right.
But he falls down these rabbit holes. He's got gigantic machinery to help him make these things.
Oh, I got him. Stuff made here.
Yes, stuff made here. He made shoes so that he can dunk a basketball. His stuff is pretty fun and funny.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I thought you would enjoy Simone's.
Yeah, Simone gets a hard 3.
Her journey. She hasn't made another video yet as a recording about the business side of things, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's great. Okay, so...
Wonderful.
If you want to get in contact with the show, you can reach out to us, upyouralleypod@gmail.com, or follow us on Instagram And I got to make some more TikToks. I got to get off my ass and start doing stuff. Let's talk about what we're going to be talking about next week. Jake, what do you got for me?
You want your present?
Oh, let me tell you mine first because mine's not a present.
Oh, okay.
Just a movie for you today. It's been a while since I've given you just here's a fun movie to watch.
I love movies.
2024 film directed by Doug Liman. Are you familiar with Doug Liman's work?
Doug Liman?
Doug Liman.
No.
Doug
I was trying to think of a name of his joke, a joke of his name.
He directed Born Identity, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Jumper, Edge of Tomorrow. Good one.
I love Edge of Tomorrow.
He also directed the most recent Roadhouse.
See, now I don't like where it's happening.
No, it's a film available on Apple TV Plus, starring Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. It is The Instigators.
I never heard.
It's Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. It's a Boston comedy heist movie.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good. It has
I like Matt Damon.
And Casey Affleck.
I'm all right.
The lesser Affleck.
The guy
Casey Affleck, I think, kind of steals this. Matt Damon is doing his kind of like low key Matt Damon, and Casey Affleck is very funny, which is something he doesn't get a chance to do often.
He squeaks through most of his movies.
He's normally a very sad man going through some terrible things.
My wife is probably really bad at me about this case. That's me being Casey Affleck.
Nailed it.
In the movie Gone.
Throw that in the repertoire.
Gone, baby, gone.
It also has...
Here's me, Casey Affleck, in the movie Ghost Story. Oh, no, I ate too much of this pie, and I'm going to die.
You done?
No, I got more.
Save it for later. Also has Alfred Molina, Toby Jones, Jack Harlow, Ron Perlman, and Ving Rhames.
Okay.
So stacked cast. It's an hour 40 minutes, just good action comedy. I was just like... it's kind of like when we watched the Jake Johnson movie.
I was thinking about Self-Reliance the other day.
Yeah, it's just like
I'm ready to watch that again.
I love movies like this. It's a small, self-contained. It's not trying to be a franchise or anything like that.
A well-made movie by a guy who really wanted this movie made.
Yep. And Casey Affleck co-wrote this, so like he was on Seth Meyers last night,
right?
And he brought up the fact that he never gets sent scripts of comedies, so he had to write a comedy for himself.
All right.
So yeah, Instigators.
Interesting.
What you got for me?
I got you this.
It's a box.
It's physical media.
Oh boy.
Yeah, boy. And it's a movie.
Oh, you had mentioned this to me.
Yes, sir.
The People's Joker.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching The People's Joker.
So...
I got a copy myself. You got a copy now, too?
Yeah.
It is about a trans woman that comes to Gotham City to try and be a comedian, where comedy is outlawed.
So this is like one of the things when the Joker became public domain, kind of?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
All I know is that I've seen another one of Vera Drew's thing called Suicide Cop, and it was very funny. Huh. And I look forward to this movie.
Okay.
It's got a funny premise, and apparently it's really out there, so I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I saw it on X before I quit X. I'm off of Twitter now. It's gone. Good. I had to delete it. I can't do it anymore.
Good.
But before I left, they were like...
More for me and Tucker.
There was a fan that tweeted at her being like... why isn't any of the nerd podcasts reviewing your movie when it's a DC thing?
Right.
And she's like, the cool ones are. I was like, all right, I see you.
That's us.
Well, do it.
Yeah. All right, so double movies. I'm going to watch The People's Joker. Is this available to stream anywhere if people want to watch it?
Yes, it's on her website.
That's it?
Yeah, I think you got to buy it digitally.
Oh, this is one of those.
Yeah, man. Things. It's one of those cool ones.
Jake's going to watch. Let me double check that real quick.
The People's Joker. Google it.
No, I'm going to justwatch.com.
I don't think it's streaming. Like at a channel.
Apple TV Plus, stream with free trial.
Oh. Well, there you go. Maybe it's on Apple TV Plus.
And Apple TV Plus is where you can find The Instigators.
An Apple TV Plus type of episode.
It sure is. That's probably
coming up.
First double Apple TV Plus we've had.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you to Brother Bill for letting us use their music for this. Thank you to Jimmy for doing all of our artwork. Jake, thanks for coming over. Love you, bud.
I love you, buddy.
Bye.